channel 127, Friday, October 30th. We are just 4 days from the end of voting in the most important election of our lives. We've been counting it down for over 100 days on this show. We counted down 2018 midterms. That worked out well. So I'm feeling pretty good about this. If people keep coming out and vote, things are looking great for us. I'm not kidding. But they are tight in the battleground states. And it's up to us to make sure that any friends, family members, or if you have time to volunteer, on Sunday I'm going to be phone banking, get the turnout increased in these key battleground states, and we're going to win this election. And we are also going to win the Senate back. This is where we're poised for this huge, huge potential victory. But what's going on now, and I've said this many times before, if you give Donald Trump and the GOP a chance to cheat and steal this election, they're going to cheat and steal this election. So we cannot give them the chance to steal and cheat because they're trying. They're trying. And there's a big thing in Pennsylvania that's got broken. I mean, some listeners called last night, told me about it. I saw some small stories about it. It's been amplified now, finally getting national press, and it deserves it because in Butler County, Pennsylvania, they're trying to cheat in this all-important state of Pennsylvania. But something else happened last night. We're seeing Republican judges also side with Donald Trump. And if given a chance, these Republican-appointed judges will cheat. They will steal the election and give it to Trump. As sure as you're watching me, this is where we are now. It's no longer about democracy with a small d. It's about power. That's all the GOP cares about. They are anti-democratic. They are pro-power. That's why they have no problem with an authoritarian like Donald Trump or a fascist. As long as the fascist delivers what they want, they don't care. That's the reality of the situation. So what happened last night? The Federal Court of Appeals, 8th Circuit, ruled that in Minnesota, despite a consent order being entered into between the state and a federal court, district court judge that approved it, that allowed absentee ballots that were postmarked on Election Day to be counted for a few days after, the Court of Appeals overturned that and said, well, what they did actually is say any ballot received after Election Day has to be segregated out, and potentially we're going to overturn it after the election, which is even worse. Now, when I say the Court of Appeals overturned it, there were 3 judges. 2 Republicans said, we're going to segregate the ballots because we're probably going to overturn this. They were both Republican appointees. The one judge against it, a Democrat. This is where we are right now. Even every judge appointed, and one was a Trump appointee, are just about Republican power. It's a sad state for our nation in the big picture of things. So what's happening now in Minnesota is if your ballot is not received on Election Day, there's no guarantee it's going to be accepted. And what makes this so sinister is that people thought they had days after Election Day. They've been operating on that because that's what it was told in Minnesota, that as long as you put your ballot in the mail before Election Day, it's postmarked by Election Day, it shows up a few days later, we'll still count it. Now the Republicans on the court are saying, we probably won't count it, but we're not going to tell you until after the election. Utterly sinister. Add to that, Justice Alito on the Supreme Court 2 days ago in a case in Pennsylvania, similar thing, where they were extending the days after Election Day that they'll accept absentee ballots postmarked on Election Day, said, we're going to keep this case before us. And after Election Day, when we have more time, we might rule any ballot received after Election Day, even if postmarked on Election Day, won't be counted. They are waiting to steal this election. That's what they want to do. And the key there to defeating their efforts to steal this election, because they want to Bush v. Gore it, which simply means they want to stop the counting of valid ballots. That's what Bush v. Gore stands for. 5-4 decision in 2000. It's essentially stopping the counting of valid ballots because it would hurt the Republicans. That's what they want to do here. Prepare for that. And how do we prepare for that? You must return your ballot in person by Election Day. And every state has different procedures for how you can return it validly. Just Google it. You might even know it. Call up the County Board of Elections. Some is you have to return it. Others is you can designate someone else, a family member, or someone who lives with you to return it, but you've got to find out. Every state is different. Got to check it out. That's how but here's the big thing in Butler County, Pennsylvania, which thankfully today got a little more coverage with CNN shaming them. And you can't shame Republicans. You just alert Democrats about what's going on so they work harder to make sure their vote counts, because the GOP has no sense of decency or shame. None. I'm not kidding. That's not hyperbolic. This is the truth. It's what we've seen. Here's what happened in Butler County. Let me tell you about Butler County. First of all, pre this scandal, there was an article a few days ago which really shows you the motivation of what's going on now. And this article had nothing to do with the scandal, the GOP Board of Elections not sending out ballots to Democrats. Here's what we learned in this article in a Pennsylvania paper. They talked about Butler County, which is a little north of Pittsburgh, about 150,000 registered voters. They overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump in 2016, 66% to 29%. And as they put here, the Trump campaign strategy is to make counties like Butler County, and they talked about Butler County in this big article in Pennsylvania Press, as the key, the cornerstone of his strategy. It's overperforming in these counties. So while they won 66% to 29%, they want the margin of victory even bigger. And that's what they're working to. They have 3 election locations in this one county. They are saying their goal is to get, and I'll read right from the article, Trump's fate lies in large part in places like Butler County, an overwhelmingly white conservative county north of Pittsburgh. There are nearly 2 Republicans for each registered Democrat. And the goal there is to overperform. Now, how do you overperform? One way is you get your side to come out. The others is you cheat. You suppress the other side. So that extra part I just add at the end is not part of the story. The part of the central focus of the story is Butler County is ground zero for Donald Trump to win this election. So keep that in mind. Now the scandal. What happens? We learned that nearly 40,000 registered voters in Butler County requested mail-in ballots. And as we all know, Democrats are overwhelmingly asking for these ballots. What's happened? Here's the odd thing. 40,000 people asked for ballots, and only 24% of them have returned it. The lowest rate of return of ballots in any of the state's 67 counties. You're saying, what's going on? Are the people just being lazy and not returning their ballots? No. What happened is the GOP-controlled election board did not send ballots to Democrats who requested it. That is the clear takeaway, what's going on here. What happened is thousands of people, literally thousands, they estimate maybe 10,000 phone calls to the county board elections going, where are our ballots? I had people call my show last night to flag this for me. They were calling, where are our ballots? Well, what did the GOP County Board of Elections there? They blamed the post office. The post office, I guess surprising to them, put out a statement going, that's a lie. They said point blank, the post office, we are unaware of any significant delays or issues, and we are in regular contact with the Board of Elections to locate and deliver the ballots. So there goes their lie. So now the GOP caught, and I was tweeting about it last night. Others like Joy Reid and others were amplifying it, thankfully. Today, CNN covered it. And all of a sudden now, the County Board of Elections, the Republic, is like, oh, we're going to send out new ballots right away. It sounds nice on its face, but again, part of the scam. You're going to put ballots in the mail Friday to get to people, and those ballots have to get to them and be returned through the mail by Election Day, or they might not count. You're kidding me. This is not voter suppression. This is voter cheating. This is how they steal an election. Again, us calling them out is not going to shame the GOP. They have no shame. It's to make Democrats aware in this county, if you want to vote, and I know you do because you requested a ballot, the ways you can do it. I would recommend you go to the website of Butler County Board of Elections or the Secretary of State, but I will read to you what's there now so you're aware of what's up. You can go to the election boards Thursday or Friday or Monday between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Speak to them there. It looks like you can get a ballot if you have proper ID. But the problem is if you don't have your absentee ballot with you and they have evidence from their records, they send it to you, big problem. Same thing on Election Day. If you go on Election Day and it shows they sent you an absentee ballot, you can vote if you return your absentee ballot, but you didn't get it because of the scam. What happens then? You can only vote by provisional ballot. And guess what? While you can vote, it's not going to be counted for 7 days after the election. They're going to wait for 7 days to make sure your absentee ballot they never sent you gets there. They're playing games. They're hoping that in 7 days, who knows if it counts, because you've got to go then figure out if your provisional ballot was actually counted. And they're hoping you're not going to. It's unbelievable. This is third world country bullshit. That's what's going on right here. This is how desperate the GOP is to keep Donald Trump, their beloved white supremacist savior, fascist, who will impose the Bible as law for them, not that he cares about. He has no belief in faith whatsoever, as our law. That's what this is about, especially for a working class county like this. It's not about tax cuts for the wealthy, I can assure you. It's about the white supremacy. That's what it's about. It's about Christian domination, based on turning a right-wing perversion of the faith into our laws of our land. And the list goes on and on about what they want. All right-wing radical views turned into our laws. Here's the thing, my friends. Donald Trump and the GOP will cheat if they get a chance. It's up to us to not allow them to have this chance. If you're in any state that you can return an absentee ballot, you're using absentee ballot, make sure it is back by election day. Over 20 states actually allow by state law for your ballot to be received after election day. Over 20. So if you're in one of those states that it's actually codified by law, you're safe. But ones where there was changes this year, like Minnesota, Pennsylvania, you can't trust it. You want to make sure your ballot's counted. You want to make sure we defeat Donald Trump. You've got to get it in person by election day. Thanks for tuning in. We'll go into more detail on my show tonight, 6 to 9 p.m., channel 127, Sirius XM. Again, if you don't subscribe to Sirius XM, just go to the website. There's free trials. Join the conversation. Be a part of this struggle to defeat Donald Trump and elect Joe Biden and win the Senate back, so we can actually pass policies that don't amplify the profits of the wealthy, but help people, help the poor, help the working class, give people a chance, provide a safety net in terms of health care, financial needs, making sure children don't go to bed hungry. That's what we care about. It's not what they care about. Thanks for tuning in.